everyone. Welcome to, oh my gosh, what episode are we on? We're on episode 26 of the What the Sheep podcast. Wow, we have been going strong. But tonight we will be discussing and breaking down and just generally gushing about episode 116. We are officially at more episodes in campaign 2 than in campaign 1. Yeah. That in itself is pretty darn insane. I only just realized that now just saying it. But joining me tonight, as always, are my fabulous friends and fellow critters, Alana, and we have a special guest tonight, Lynn, at Linzer_art on Twitter, and Linzer on YouTube. She's been a fabulous artiste in the fandom for a very long time, specifically with Widow Jest art. I know Alana and myself are Widow Jest stands, so it's really awesome to have her here. She is also the incredible artist behind the emotes for this channel, as we have used. So super appreciative of all the work that she's done. It does not go unnoticed, and I'm excited to discuss this episode. So I guess with all of that being said, we can start talking about the sort of craziness that happened in this episode. A lot of encounters, but a lot of lighthearted moments as well, specifically right at the beginning with Vess sort of asking Dagon if they're gone for more than 7 days, just have a funeral for them.
You must have a funeral for us. Yeah.
I was so happy she remembered that bit she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was back with the Happy Fun Ball, right? Where they were gone for like an extended period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, and she said to Yasha because she came back at the time.
That's right.
And I love Dagon being like, well, how much do you want me to spend on it?
Yeah.
Like, he was like actually entertaining the idea. It was very sweet. Very sweet that he's like, okay, I guess I will.
I guess. I mean,
I do wonder if we see Dagon again, because like we don't know what we're going into at all.
I know. Well, was he like setting up camp to like stay nearby for when they leave?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was under the impression that he was just like dipping, like, all right, I brought you guys here, have fun.
No, I think his whole deal was, I'll take you to the places, but I'm not going in. So
gotcha.
I think he's like, I'm gonna set up camp, and then when you come back, but I'm same Lynn. I'm like, oh, but what if we don't see him again?
Yeah, like what if it means like they stay there for long weeks? I guess they can send messages depending on how far they go into and the magic disturbance. I just hope they don't forget, because they tend to.
They tend to forget about their companions. And they're like,
yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
like, they've basically forgotten about Essek. I feel like Essek doesn't even exist anymore. They haven't,
We have such long periods of forgetting about Essek and then saying hello to him and then forgetting about Essek, yeah. Being,
Yeah, they don't need, taxi anymore, so... They're just... I guess because, the dynasty line kind of closed, and now they're focusing on the empire, so they don't need them as much, the contact.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Still, I want Essek.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But the funny thing is kind of jumping ahead in this episode, but when they found the first drow body, and then the drow bodies later on in the episode, I feel like everyone was like, is it Essek? Is Essek here? Is that Essek's body? But even though, like, we know rationally, like, there's, like, a 99.9% repeating chance that it's not, but it's like, oh.
There's only one drow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. Imagine if Matt's just like, yeah, it's Essek. That would, no. I don't,
God.
No,
Pulls the box machina on us.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh, no.
There was a reference to, oh, yeah, when... Again, jumping ahead, when he's saying, like, the body's in the chamber, we jump ahead.
Yeah.
Saying, like, there's, like, the 2 drow, the 2 orcs, the goblin, the human, the halfling, and they're, like, trying to work it out. He's like, no, it's not the sun tree. It's not the sun tree, yeah. I thought that was really cool. But I was like, ooh, is it them? No, it's not. It doesn't work in any way.
You only have to traumatize players once.
Yeah, with dead bodies hanging from a tree.
But I feel like at this point, the party has been traumatized enough with the amount of like absolutely insane moments that the party has had to go through these past several consecutive episodes. I think they could use a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Even no, go ahead.
If you watch them, because like if we had a big hiatus and then it's week by week, but if you watch them in like order without a break, they really like haven't had a chance to actually let themselves out a little.
Yeah. And I think even their downtime has been stressful. Like their most recent downtime, they had to train. Like that's not relaxing downtime.
I know it's like those moments where it's like you're trying to relax, but you're trying too hard to relax, that it's not really relaxing. Yeah.
I feel like though they've been really successful lately. There's been like a lot of combat.
W's.
There's been a lot of and even on things that have been quite difficult, and a lot of fights where they've not like run away or anything, because that used to be a big kind of thing for them. They were always very not scared, but always very precautious in terms of, is this too hard for us? Should we leave? Like, but I feel like I don't know if it's building up their confidence again, to then be like dashed against the rock,
which could very well happen.
Yeah, I mean they already kind of failed with being tasked with DeRogna and she dying under their nose.
Yeah. That's so thinking about it now, after the moment, is actually so hilarious. They were literally tasked to be, as Ford said, like Secret Service, and they didn't even think to like set up watches outside her door.
The biggest problem was pranking her on who pays for the.
And they were gonna get paid. What was it, like 70,000 gold?
So much.
Oh, this is why I knew that either they don't survive or DeRogna, because I play D&D. If they offer you a lot of money, you're never gonna see that. Yeah, that's 100%.
You are never getting it.
That's like, that sucks that one, they won't get the gold, but also like, it is very funny that she just straight up died.
I am I was in the belief that they will bring her back, but it doesn't seem like it as of now.
I thought that too when she first started. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They just need to wait a day and then revive her. But
yes.
They're talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I don't think they're going to bring her back. And then I think about it. Yeah, she's clearly very evil. I feel like it's on her that she didn't give them all the information. Because she was like, the Tomb Takers, nah, that's like, don't worry about it sort of thing. But clearly, she was really in deep with
we later find out that she was like in the running to be the Nonagon or something like
runner-up.
Never heard of them, have you?
I feel like had she actually said, oh, I've got these tattoos too, and I might be a target, they would have taken the bodyguarding a bit more seriously.
Yeah. It's not like I feel bad for her. Fuck DeRogna. I mean, she's an interesting character, but I'm more worried about the implications this will bring to the Nine, because they were tasked to protect DeRogna. Trent knows this, and she died. And people will search for her, and if the spells doesn't go through, they will know that she probably died. So it's not good.
And that's the thing. They've talked about how, like, the assembly members have probably like methods to not be scryed on, but I feel like they've also probably got something to let the others know if they're dead. Like, like Vox Machina had the charms, like if someone goes down, they know, but like I feel like they would have some kind of fail-safe for that. Although Isocross, weird magic, like maybe.
Do you think she would have a clone?
That was one thing that could be speculated. But then your idea of like if like when they die, they might have something in place to let the other people know. Would the contingency spell work for that, or would it like dissipate because she died?
Not a contingency spell, but like some kind of charm or some kind of effect that was like, if the body dies, the others know, like a heartbeat monitor, like sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I
There's
like
vitals like in Among Us. They just check the vital machine, just make sure everyone's still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, they are assembly. Yeah. They are assembly members, and Delilah had clones, so...
Yeah.
And she was the antiquity one, too.
And didn't...
She had so many clones.
Yeah, wait, didn't Vess replace
They were the same.
Delilah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So... It would be funny if they are like hanging out with like Nonagon, and then suddenly there's just like DeRogna.
Like 3 Vess DeRognas come in, like kicking down the door.
Oh my
Surprise,
God.
bitch.
Yeah.
Thought you saw less of me.
Oh man, that's cool. I think that's But no, I was the same, Lynn. I only really wanted them to bring her back because I didn't want them to get in trouble. But I'm also loving their I think Taliesin was saying on talks how he doesn't care if they get in trouble. He's like, oh, we can just never go back to that place. It's okay. Like, we've got other places we can go. I was like, okay, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, kind of true, kind of not. Depends how they want to take it, because Caleb wants to go back, but they don't necessarily have to. So, yeah.
I definitely feel like Vess being dead, though, definitely sets up Caleb's story arc to sort of kick off even more once this whole thing is settled. It may never settle. We have no idea what's going to happen with this current story arc, to be honest.
It feels like, because we keep talking about when's the end going to be, what number do we think, and I feel like it's just getting like further and further.
I know, it's just elongating.
Which is great. I'm happy to bring it on, but like, because I feel like this is big what they're dealing with right now. This is some big deal. Good words. This is a big deal. Right now. But they still have like Caleb's stuff to kind of deal with, and like Ukuto is obviously still a real big threat. Like they need to somehow manage to. I think Ford was saying if he can't destroy the crystals, he wants to destroy the temple. Like, which sounds like a bad idea. Don't go near that at all. But I feel like there's still like quite a bit to do.
It's interesting because unlike with Vox Machina, you know, there had been with them like a clear line of goals they have to achieve, and that's when the campaign would end. And the M9 is very different from that. Things just happen, and oftentimes they have absolutely no like say in it. Yeah, very much so.
It makes it very hard to predict an end. Yeah, because it feels like it could just keep going. Which, yay.
I wish they would.
Yeah, I like these characters.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested to see what they could possibly have planned for campaign 3. But that's a whole... When this campaign ends, that's going to be a whole, like, 3-hour discussion about a campaign 3 speculations and stuff, so...
Let's talk about this episode.
God. Yes. I feel like we've only gotten through the first like 5 minutes of this episode.
Yeah. So we had Veth roguing, which is really cool. Like
I loved the their little mini conversation of like, do halflings have dark vision?
Oh wow.
Like, they don't. Change your back. Change your back.
That was the start, I think, of them getting a bit loopy at the table. Because it was so much fun. Like we said, there wasn't a ton of stuff that really happened in the episode, like combat and stuff, but it was so much fun because they were all in such good moods, and like just that frenetic energy was around there. I think someone said they think it was filmed maybe like 2 days after the election, so maybe
that's what I was thinking.
And just a bit, out of it because of that. But Marisha was on form. Like she was.
I did feel it because I was thinking, going into this, oh my god, dungeon crawl, very oppressing teams, dead friend and stuff, and they were just cracking up every 5 seconds. And it's not a bad thing.
I feel like
it was unexpected.
Exactly. I feel like that's their way of like masking the immense amount of stress that they're feeling about seeing their dead friend again.
That's also
like,
true.
Let's just keep making jokes and keep pushing it back. It doesn't exist yet.
It's like the King's Cage dungeon crawl, except now they've got glow sticks and they've got
they have a rave on the go essentially.
Yeah, but no, it was good. I like seeing Veth rogue, but the whole doesn't have dark vision was hilarious.
She also has a curse dagger.
And the curse dagger,
yes.
Which
about that? Yes, when they were taking the short rest.
Yeah.
And they were rolling for hit dice.
She
made a very just like unnerving look I'm wondering if it has something to do, like, if she runs out of hit dice, I wonder if there's some, like, crazy, like, effect that happens.
Yeah,
because
100%.
doesn't she have to, like, spend hit dice to deal the necrotic damage?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would make
so whenever
sense.
it does the necro damage, she loses one of her hit dice. And I think because, when she says it, she's like, or when Sam says, like, oh, and Matt's like, like, Matt reacts to that. And they're like, what? Like, oh, nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. I think that's probably going to be a thing of, like, if you run out of hit dice, like, you die, or
That would be amazing.
become possessed or something.
I mean, not amazing. I love that. I just really enjoyed the drama of it. It's personal speculation, but I think that Sam had after like most of her drama got resolved, she was Sam. He was kind of looking for something as a personal conflict for her, the character, and he's really happy to have a cursed dagger.
Welcome
to mess with the others.
We love the personal drama.
So. Yeah, we love angst in this podcast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't want her to be hurt, but can Caleb be like a little bit more sad?
Like,
that would be great.
Can he get a little more hurt in this battle, you know?
Caleb, can you just fail 2 death saves and like almost die?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm at home. Yes.
Please, a revivify scene. Just give us a revivify scene.
Yeah.
That failed.
Of Jester like tenderly caressing Caleb's cheek as she like. Yeah. This is we're having 3 Widow Just stands in the same podcast. We're too powerful.
Yeah.
There's an agenda. We can't pretend to be
we're sorry,
subjective.
But I was hoping we also got a like maybe 1 or 2 Boyasha crumbs as well. When because Bo was saying something, she was like, yeah, you guys already knew that, this is stupid. I think it was in regards to like the frozen wisps. I don't know what they were.
Yeah, she said something.
And she was like, no, it was helpful. Or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the fire damage. Like fire is bad for the get your own unit. She's like, no, that's good to know. Like
they
cute.
Support each other so much. It's so cute.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was also Caleb, used the boots and said, "Hey, I'm like Yasha flying," and Bo was like, "You're way hotter, Yasha."
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I actually didn't hear that either. Oh my gosh.
That's great. Yeah, I that first room they went into, so when they actually started exploring, I don't know what it is. I'm like, as a person, I'm really good at maps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in D&D, I'm the opposite. I can't do maps in D&D. And so when Matt's describing the tilted room, I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Oh yeah, like Travis.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out the doors, and eventually, like, he did like a hand movement. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. But I'm wondering if I'm wondering what's going on with this entire place, because it's a part of Aor that crashed, and so it's not the main city itself. But what are the chances the first place they went to check is the most important place? Because clearly Lucien's here. Clearly there's some kind of... this room they're in at the end seems somewhat important. I'm wondering, like, do you think there's going to be more exploration? Well, I guess it depends on what the conversation is, but I'm not sure if they're going to make it to Aor. Like, is Aor even the goal now? Like, Vess is gone. Their goal is really just to find Lucien. So I'm wondering what part of the city is. I kind of want to know more about the actual site they're in, which I think we'll probably get when they talk to him a bit more. Which is...
Well, I was getting, like, heavy, like, Dwemer Ruin vibes, like, from Skyrim with this whole thing.
That's
good. That's a very good metaphor.
But I'm wondering because of all of these, like, different, like, glyphs and stuff, and the idea that it was, like, rotated, like, the room was rotated, and, like, things are, like, weird. I'm wondering if the city of Aor is this, like, think of it kind of like the Happy Fun Ball, where there's, like, so many layers and it's, like, rotating and stuff, kind of like also like the staircase in Hogwarts and stuff. Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, when it crashed, like, it was, like, in mid-rotation stuff, and wherever it crashed, that's just kind of how it ended up.
That's an interesting concept.
I had a much dumber thought when he was describing the doors on the ceiling. I was like, could these people fly? That was my thought. I was like, oh wait, no, it's on its side. That makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I like that idea of it being kind of that centrifugal kind of spinning mass, or like just different spaces.
It would track for being a powerful magical society.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, weren't they like the god killer kinds? Like they were making magical weapons that could even kill a god and something, and there was like the war.
Yeah.
What if that's what Lucien's looking for?
I will just point out again, because we say it each week and I always ignore it, but I'm going to say it probably. Any people in chat, if you've read the Wild Mount Guide, we're not going to post any spoilers, because they do address that in the Wild Mount Guide. That is, which I'm not going to say. I was watching last week's episode, and Nika's like, we're going to keep all spoilers to a 0. I'm like, okay, well, here's like 2 things I want to talk about. So yeah.
Interesting.
DeRogna was very cocky about gods when she served that tea, so it would also track with her to want weapons that could possibly hurt the gods themselves. So much to think about.
But wasn't there talk of like the Raven Queen and stuff in like the notes? Like way back when they were looking into the Dunamancy stuff, like they found the notes and there was like talk of the Raven Queen. Like I bet the Raven Queen does not smile.
Oh yeah,
upon them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Dunamancy, because they don't let people die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we still don't know what.
That was so cool because I like the way it was phrased. I'm gonna try and find it.
Because we still don't know what the Lucien is.
Right. So if the weapon to destroy gods is an Aor, do you think Vess wants it to destroy the Lucien?
That's an interesting question. I'm not sure if they would want to destroy, but harness it, because they are greedy.
Oh, the assembly, do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
They did want to harness the Lucien really a lot, but if they like have a beef with the Raven Queen, they could even say that, because like we're mages, we don't like mortality. Fuck the Raven Queen.
I feel like whenever we do like speculations on like what's in Aor and stuff, Alana's just has to sit there and just let us talk about it, because she probably knows everything.
I read a bit about it before, like they were going there, and I was like, oh, this is probably not going to be spoilers, and now it's getting closer. I'm like, this feels like spoilers. So
I do have the book, but I haven't read as much about it. I was like, oh, magic items, so cool, new races, and I kind of skipped over the landscapes.
Yeah, the only thing I read up on in the guide was Blightshore, because that was the most intriguing to me.
I'm not sure they'll get there either.
The way things are panning, they might not ever go there, unless so Lucien seems to be serving this entity, like the Cognosa, was it?
Cognosa? To free the synthesis.
What if? So with Uk'otoa, they need the 3 orbs put into the seals or whatever to unleash Uk'otoa. What if this gem is one of several, who knows how many, or it's the only one, to release the Cognosa or whatever? And maybe if they do need multiple of these gems, maybe another one is in Blightshore, and they will have to take a trek over there. I don't know. We have no idea what this gem could be.
I mean, could it be something like Halas? Like they knew that the city will crash, and they encased themselves in these rubies too.
Or it's
that would be interesting.
Like it's a giant brain jar.
Yeah, it's just an entire thousands of people just inside this gem.
Well, that's what it seems like. When he described it, it was like this Nexus hive mind sort of thing. oh god, I don't know. It's so creepy. Because when he first described it, I was like, oh, that sounds like a Mind Flayer city.
Right.
But I don't think it's Mind Flayers anymore. Like, that seems really strange. Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. There's so much. Let's keep talking about the episode.
Yeah, anyways. Back on track here. Did the spider that they found, I think, and it sent a shiver down my spine when I thought this thought. What if that spider was just its skin, and it shed it, and like there's a much bigger version of that spider lurking around somewhere.
I was thinking it was like had been drained of blood or something. I thought maybe it was like a shell of the spider. But I like the idea that there's still a spider out there.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
I would love that.
Does anyone watch The Mandalorian?
I have not started the second season yet.
Okay, well, I won't spoil it.
I know he's up to date on everything.
The Mandalorian, yep. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, that was a little bit of a throwback to them being the super cautious, super kind of, okay, we don't want to get in a fight if we don't have to, Mighty Nine. Like, they were being super careful, being very very surgical with what they were doing. Like, okay, well, you cast fire and I'll do the stone shape. Which is good because it keeps them alive. So, but it was very, very much them like, we don't want to fight this thing. Let's go. Yeah.
but I liked their because then in the next fight, a very interesting combat scenario.
Yeah.
With like the upside down or on its side room where they're riding down, and these weird wisps, crystal ice elemental type things.
I think there must be like ice elementals. But I'm not sure because.
But I like how like when they were first starting off the fight, they were like, should we talk to him first? Like, are they friends? Like, what should we do here?
They're just gonna attack you.
It was a really cool mechanic that Jester's illusion didn't work because they can sense body heat.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks for the Mighty Nine, but
I think that's the thing too. I think Matt was being like, oh, because Taliesin gets like really intense when Caduceus is getting attacked, which is fair enough. He lost the character, so I think Matt's like, oh, and these two will go after the duplicate. Oh wait, no, they won't. So it was like a
he had to catch himself.
Yeah, that was rough. That was very rough. But man, that was a fun fight. I love the braziers getting lit up.
Full catching on fire.
Yeah.
This girl is on fire.
Let's go. I was kind of surprised that they knew that they can light it, and like I'm pretty sure every like dungeon pack has a torch or like a tinder box in it, so they didn't have to wait the whole turn for Caleb to do that again.
And, like, I think at the start Ford was like, he said at one point to Liam, "Do I have the Glove of Blasting or do you?" So I think he was thinking, I said, the Glove of Blasting just then. The Glove of Blasting.
The Glove
of Blasting.
Glove of Blasting.
So I think he was planning on doing it. So when there was still one left, I was like, all right, this is fine. But then he didn't, and I was like, that's like a whole nother round of bad for Caduceus and the rest. I don't know, it worked out all right. Well, kind of worked out all right. Because then it
kind of, you know.
We went into another combat scenario.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Literally by accident.
Yeah. Just, because they just got the doors open and then they just dropped the rope. So it was a very... Because had he dropped the rope before the doors got open, it would have been fine, but nope, just straight through the hole.
But imagine if it was like...
Someone who can.
I think only Yasha or Caduceus that ended up
Yasha
falling.
can...
Oh,
Yasha
can
can
get
fly,
a That's right.
So it's
is it
Caduceus mainly.
Just Caduceus. I think if it... Sorry, what were you saying? Like, if it was Caduceus...
Like, if anyone else fell, besides, like, Veth or anyone else who can stop themselves from falling.
Yeah, Ford probably had another Thunder Step. Jester could polymorph, Caleb could polymorph and has slow Feather Fall. not Featherfall, yeah, Caduceus would have been screwed.
That would have been instant death. That's a lot of fall.
Yeah. It would have been instant death probably with like full health. And he only
Yes.
had 20 hit points or something. So yeah, and
You know,
yeah, and then if the black puddings then also like jumped in, it would have made it really hard to revive.
you know what was funny though? That Vet had this free fall while wearing like little antlers inspired after Kiki.
Yeah. That's right. The Twitch chat was spamming the keyfish emote during that scene. That's right. She has the antlers. Oh my god, that would have been perfect.
She's being haunted by the goldfish.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that was stressful, and because they just kept falling, and I think it was because Matt wasn't describing how close the bottom was. Sam was holding off from Fairy Fall. I think he wanted to know how much further down it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they were both waiting for the other person to do something. So it's like, are you going to cast something, or are you going to just splat? And then, thankfully, Fairy Fall was cast. But oh dear, when Matt's describing like the black like ooze on the ground, she's like, don't touch it, please don't touch it.
Yeah, and she has mage hand. Why?
So bad.
You died once like that. You touched something before tracking.
Exactly. I was worried she was gonna like lick it or something.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I was kind of confused what the hell she was doing, but then I remembered that she doesn't have the dagger and she has to retrieve it. I think the curse like compels her to keep it, and she I think it fell out of her hand or something.
Yeah.
So she couldn't just leave.
Yeah. Man.
Oh god. But then I loved the when, you know, shit was hitting the fan and stuff, and Veth was trying to spider climb out of there, but she lost concentration like part way up and then just tumbles back down.
And I think that was a miscommunication, because I think Sam was like, well, they're just going to be able to chase me anyway, but I don't think he heard that it used its movement and action to get to him. So he could have just kept going, but I think that might have been like a miscommunication, didn't hear it or whatever, because he could have just kept going and like he could have dashed out of there. But I think it was more a matter of, okay, well, I don't want it to like move too far or whatever, but that was unfortunate. That was really unfortunate.
It took a lot of spells, a lot of high-level spells to deal with a kind of simple situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about it, those things only took like a couple hits before they died.
Yeah, but to get down took a lot of spells.
Yeah.
And then they went down, they went up, and then they went down again. So
yeah. The chat's talking about Sam not using the halfling luck feat, naturally lucky. Which
that's right.
Is like it's he can play however he wants, but it's such an important part of halflings. I kind of wish he might take like another trait from another race then to
to balance out.
Because it did eventually lead to him rolling the nat 1, falling in the pit, and then all the spells being used. So it's like, it could have been negated, it could have completely been avoided. But I get that. I get loving nat 1s. Nat 1s are great, they tell a great story. I feel like he's then missing out on a potential feature.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh well. He can
Sam, it definitely seems like Sam likes the failing aspect of D&D.
Which is Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, it's just, I think I saw like a Tumblr post about how Taliesin is like a rules positive person and Sam is a rules negative. So they like to bend them to Sam to actively like disadvantage himself because he likes overcoming things, while Taliesin likes to try to make it the best possible outcome for everyone.
Yeah, it's good. That's really because you'll see like Taliesin will be very much like, oh, but did you make sure you got the Bane? Like he's very good at checking up on spells and things like that.
To be fair though, because you know Bane and Bless and all that stuff, that could make or break.
Yeah.
Something. So that one is pretty important to make sure you're getting.
Yeah. But that whole idea of Sam loving the kind of overcoming things makes me think that he's really going to play into this cursed dagger bit.
Oh yeah.
But also at the same time, they haven't had a short rest in a while, I don't think. But maybe it's because they've been traveling a lot, so it's been like encounter, end of the day, encounter, end of the day. Because I think at one point, like, he was rolling his hit dice, and I think he said something like, "Oh, how do I do hit dice? Like, how do you use your hit dice?" But I could definitely see him playing that up, especially if they're doing a much longer dungeon crawl. They need more short rests, so it's exciting.
But what I love, and I think is very smart from like a DM perspective, is when there's a potential for like a very climactic fight or battle to happen, potentially a fight or battle or whatever, it makes a dungeon crawl scenario that much more challenging, because then the party has to be very considerate on what resources they're using, because if they use a lot of their big hitters early on, they're not going to have them down the line, which is obviously stressful from a viewer perspective as well, because now that they have reached, you know, this final chamber, they're not tapped necessarily, but they're definitely not at full strength.
Oh, that's why I was quite surprised. But I think if I remember correctly, Molly said that you guys are early. And I don't know if that was like, or Lucien, I don't know if that was like kind of sarcastic, or Matt actually expected them to rest because they used like, Caleb used like 2 5th levels and I think like 4th and the 3rd level like cleric spells were used. So they are quite tapped for someone like if they have to face Lucien.
Definitely. But it also kind of makes me feel like it's Matt's way of saying, like, because they are a super powerful party, like they've got 7 members. What are they now, level 13, or they're 13, right?
Yes,
I think so, because at 14 they get like new really like big features.
Yes. So they're super powerful, so I think this might be like Matt's way of tanking them a bit before a potential big fight. I mean, the idea is not to fight Lucien straight away, but so kind of bringing their stats down a bit, us bringing their spells and abilities down a bit, but also it kind of makes me feel a bit more confident that, okay, well, maybe Lucien isn't as dangerous as, I mean, definitely dangerous, but like, if I don't think Matt would put them into a scenario where it's like, okay, if you do decide to fight this character, it's just going to be a total like TPK because they're ultra powerful and ultra dead. I think he would be like, okay, if they get to this point, they would probably have used some of their resources beforehand. If they do decide to fight Lucien, I still want it to be a fair fight. I feel like it makes me feel a little bit more confident that if they ever do have to fight Lucien and his crew, that they have a chance. I think it's just the fact that Lucien is spooky as hell with the stuff that they can do. Like just killing people instantly somehow with the glowing eyes. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
very
it's the unknown that's kind of off-putting.
But I think that bit of them entering the room as the people are being killed, I was really worried because I thought, oh, are they going to run in and try to save these people? Like, because they seem like dynasty people. Like, are they going to try and stop this from happening? But I think Matt was just like, no, they're all dead. Like, don't worry, that choice has been taken from you.
What if? Here's my angsty moment of the night.
Okay, let's hear it.
What if because there's been all of these drow that they've found, and like at the back of everyone's mind, like, ooh, is that Essek? Is that Essek? What if when they entered this room, they were in a fight, and instead of some random woman that Molly was holding, what if it was Essek that he was holding, like up in the air?
On the chair? In the air. You said in the air. I thought you said on the chair.
Oh no. That would have been something. It's like, and then you see in the clutches of your old friend Molly, you see a familiar friend.
Oh dear.
Who is floating off the ground, but not of his own free will this time.
Oh my god. That's such like a funny thing. It's funny for him to say.
You can see his feet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, man, that would be That wouldn't be great.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
wish that happened.
if people you guys have in chat seen, Vox Machina, Matt is known to pull some very cruel shit if he wants to.
Yep.
So I
just
expect the
remember
unexpected.
like the whole Gilmore
Oh my
Rakshasa
god.
thing.
I did not expect him to ever pull something like that.
Oh,
That was
God.
really, wow.
I love
That
it.
was like
I love
jaw
it so much.
dropping.
That was also like, give me my Caleb angst, give me my Vax angst. Like, I loved it.
Hell yeah.
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 But I'm wondering if Lucien is only this powerful because he is now like clearly this like vessel for this entity. I wonder if it's just this entity that's like channeling its power through Lucien, and he really is he himself isn't necessarily that powerful.
Yeah.
If Matt's keeping Molly on the level of the Mighty Nine, he'd be like, level 13, which is still powerful, but the power that he's been exhibiting is likely just due to the fact that he has this connection with this much more powerful entity.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Makes sense, and would make sense why DeRogna wanted to be the vessel, because she wanted the power of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm terrified at what this power actually is. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We have seen it now.
How do you fight the city? I don't know what's coming.
I don't know. And I'm wondering, like, are all of these other people that Lucien is with, are they also like blood hunters? Are they like something else? Are they all like blood related? Because I know Kree isn't a blood hunter, but she's a blood cleric. So,
Might be.
oh god. But they're obviously powerful enough to just like cut through all of these people with ease.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine the Dynasty wouldn't just send some random schmoes to delve into ruins and stuff. So
they'd have like some decent abilities.
Yeah.
It's so stressful.
I know. What do we think that this crystal is? I mean, Alana, I'm pretty sure you know what this crystal is or might be because of the. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I thought it may be the book.
I mean, this site that they're at isn't in the book. It only talks a bit about like Aor and what happened to it. So I have no clue. No clue whatsoever. Yeah, and there's nothing mentioning anything about like the cognosum and floating cities, or like living cities in the astral sea in the book. Like this is all separate. Yeah, so I've got no clue. We've got theories.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I need to rewatch that scene again to hear the description of it, because it's this big crystal floating, right? In kind of like a well arena setup.
Yeah.
A bit, right? Yeah.
Almost like a focusing room, in a way.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lynn? What do you think this gem is? Do you think it's the key to everything?
Well, if it's not like holding a consciousness or something, it might be a trigger for something. So that's why they need to retrieve or go, because they need it to complete something or reach something. So it might be a key.
Yeah, I could see that. Sort of like maybe almost like in a way you could see it as like a foreshadowing, like when they found that like obelisk. With the green emerald.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Foreshadowing the fact that this blue crystal is connected to something that is like a trigger or something like that.
And maybe only the vessel, the nanogun, can use and unlock the cognosum.
Oh, maybe.
So people in chat are guessing that it was the broomstone, the battery that kept it floating.
Oh.
They did talk about like potentially finding some of those and collecting them because they're worth a lot of money. But so maybe it was something like that.
Oh. Yeah, like an arcane battery or something. Yeah, I would imagine anyone would want something like that. Especially if you're trying to empower an entity or I don't even know. I don't even know what Lucien could even hope to use something like that for. Would a living city need an arcane battery for something?
Oh God, I don't know.
I know.
Maybe if they're not exactly on this plane, they need the energy to cross through.
Oh. Are they trying to like maybe like the city is like too massive of an entity to even like, you know, travel
Just
between
ship,
dimensions.
yeah.
So maybe they need to like create like a tear.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Broomstone's the same. Lynn's just posted it too. It's the same type of gem that was in the arcane collar, and also powering the golems in the halls of Hellas. So Haven still has that collar, the anti-magic collar, and it's powered by the blue stones.
So they can be used for a lot of things, different
Yeah,
effects.
Putting on old creepy men.
Yeah. Oh God. Man. I was so hoping that we were gonna get more answers this episode, because it was like after the episode had ended, I had received a couple messages on Twitter and stuff of like, oh man, can't wait for you to talk about that episode today, and I'm like what happened? Because I didn't finish the episode when I looked at the messages, I was like, oh my God, what happens? And there was like 30 minutes left of the episode, and they had like just recently finished the ooze encounter, and I was like, man, something like banger has to be happening in the last like 10 minutes of this episode. And then all we got was another cliffhanger.
I think too, you could see Ashley was really quite quiet leading up to it when Matt's describing. I think she wanted to say something, or like not even say something, but I think we're gonna get some good Ashley scenes next week.
I know, because this was the moment that I was waiting for. That I said like last week. I said last week that the one thing that I'm like super anxious. Hold on.
I got it.
That I'm super okay. That I'm super anxious for. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my fire alarm's going off. I think they're burning something in the kitchen.
Oh no!
It's fine. They're making pizzas. They're probably just burning the pizzas. Okay. But anyways, last week I said I'm like super anxious for when like the party actually sees Molly again after all of this time. And it's now almost appropriate like that the first time they see their old friend, he's murdering someone with his new like glowing red eyes. So it kind of like almost like sets the stage. But then contrasting that, like seeing him like absolutely destroy someone, but then a second later, you know, he looks over to them in a casual manner and is like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you so soon." So it's just an interesting like contrast to like, yeah, he's this super powerful thing because he's a vessel, but he's still Lucien.
Yeah, it makes me wonder and hope that he still has Molly's memories. Even if Lucien is the one in control and he's the one driving it, that he still has memories of his time as Molly. I hope so, because that would lead to some awful conversations.
Oh, that would be really terrifying, because if it's Molly's memories with Lucien, he can like, you know, manipulate them to make the M9 do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Lots of angst.
Nice. But that's the thing too, because I think we were talking about like, well, maybe Lucien's not a bad guy. Maybe the group is, you know, they're at odds with the Cerberus Assembly, but they're just trying to do something. Maybe this goal they have with the floating city is a good thing, and they're trying to save lives or something. But because we're like, oh, well, he's only just killed Vess DeRogna, and she's evil. But I don't know, seeing them kind of like take out just the miners and the people kind of, not miners, but like the excavation team, it's a little bit more grey. It's a little bit more like,
yeah, it's like it's almost as if like they try to get rid of anyone and everyone who tries to get close and just seize them, and that's kind of like,
I mean,
maybe working.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you go.
Maybe working with them, because they were like very optimistic about coming in and like teaming up with them to see what they do. But seeing this last scene might be a little more difficult to align their interests.
And I mean, the Mighty Nine, it makes me think of like when they first got to Jorhas and they were like coming out of the tunnel. There was the Dwendalian group there, and they got attacked by the Dynasty group, and they did like fight against like drow and I think there was like gnolls and things like that. Like they did kill regular people, but that was kind of like they were being attacked. They were kind of caught in the middle of it. This feels like they're like just murdering people, Lucien's group. So it's a little bit hard to say that they're just purely good trying to do the right thing. So it makes it very tricky for what the Mighty Nine are going to do.
I know. Oh, FMA in chat says, if Lucien says, I'm your god, long may I reign. What's funny about that is I remember like a few WTS episodes ago, I was like, what if like this whole time, like Taliesin has no idea what's going on with Molly, but if he did, what if way back in episode, like 13, when he was wearing nothing but his tapestry and he walked into the room and said that line, I'm your god, long may I reign. Like if Taliesin actually knew what was in store for Molly, what if he was being literal when he said that? I am literally your god.
Foreshadowing. I like it.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
But it does seem like Taliesin has no idea what is going on.
It makes me wonder what would have happened with this storyline if Molly stayed.
I don't. I've thought about that. It all depends on how like far along Matt planned Molly's story.
That's also true. Would Vess stay? Would have Vess stayed the Nonagon then?
Ooh.
Imagine but imagine like the first time they met Vess with like Molly in the party. Because he wouldn't know.
Wait. Wouldn't she have technically seen him if she was there that day of the in the Harvest Clothes Festival when they took part in that arena?
Was Vess there too?
It was Trent. Is Trent and
I know Trent was.
Yeah.
Maybe. Trent, and there was the one who really likes little animals. Yes.
I love him. He's great.
Oh. He's the one wizard I trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they need a book too? I'm thinking because there was the book and they wanted it back. Is that necessary to complete the thing they want to do?
Yeah. Well, he's got it now.
Yeah.
He's got the book.
So like the book, the crystal, and the Nonagon all in one place.
It sounds very Obardish. It sounds very like we need to break the shackle. Like
I know.
What if it's Tharizdun again? What if it's like
oh no.
What if it's like they're like, oh yes, we are the cult of the Cognosum or whatever, but it's really just Tharizdun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another ruse.
Yeah. Oh god.
Can they just can they FaceTime Allura real quick just to let her know
miss her so much.
Yeah. And then, get like a paladin of Bahamut to come help them.
I'm still waiting for like I don't think he'll make an appearance, but like Archon has, the Hand of Vecna and stuff. And there was some stuff regarding Tiamat earlier on in the campaign. And we know that Archon is a paladin to Tiamat, I believe, something along those lines. I'd be interested to see if because we speculated for a very long time that we might be closing in on like a second calamity. It'd be interesting to see if like Archon came down as like a champion of like Tiamat when shit hits the fan.
Well, yeah, because I'm not super read up on Tiamat. I don't know what her deal is, if she wants to destroy the material plane or not. But like, a lot of the gods are like, even like a lot of the betrayer gods aren't so much destroy the material plane. It's just like we want to subjugate it, we want to control it. Whereas like Tharizdun is just like, nope, it's gone. Like
it's just black.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you've got the prime deities who are just like, well, no, we're just gonna sit back. Like we're not gonna get involved. So that'd be cool if we got some more Archon stuff. The kids of the DeRogna children turning up.
They just roll in on like Harley Davidson fucking bikes.
Yeah, clockwork Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
My dad built me this.
Yep. It's happening. It's happening next episode. That's our bold prediction for this.
Take your bets, you guys.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
We didn't get Vanderin having his cookout, sadly.
Where the hell is he?
He might still be there. Matt said there's 4 figures in the room.
True.
Like, one of them could be Vanderin. He's just there in like a Hawaiian shirt with a sun hat. He's like, well,
sorry I didn't catch you guys in Rumble Cusp.
I was totally there.
Those cocktails were amazing.
That one podcast was correct.
Oh my god.
I was so thinking Vanderin is gonna be there, so yeah, I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too, like talking about stuff we still have to go. Like we've still got Kotho, the bounty hunter.
Yeah, going after Sabian.
We never went back to the Grove to check on the crystal.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with the Savalier Woods, if that's being fixed.
Wasn't there also like a very small like subplot with Ophelia or Dune?
Didn't she say something like she had work for them? If
maybe. Or no, she was connected with the Iron Shepherds, right?
Yeah, there was something with the Iron Shepherds and like the other family in Urtadern.
That's right. Yeah.
Jagantots?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something with that.
Yeah.
That they broke into.
Yeah, man.
That was a fun mission.
Man, look how far we've come.
Just beheading the drow at the start of the episode.
Oh yeah.
So dark.
Doesn't say anything, just in complete silence, just beheads the drow.
That was a good callback to when she did that once, chopping up the something that died for the Moorbanders, and Caleb threw up when she and saw that, because people forget that Jester is chaotic neutral, not good. So it's in line with her thinking.
Because
Didn't they also like cut off someone's head in front of Morrow, the goblin, back in?
Yes.
That was back in the early Oban days.
I have a weak memory.
Maybe? They blew up the horse. Oh no, Caleb destroyed a horse. With the cat's claw.
That's right.
Yeah. I love Mara. She's great.
Lots of collateral damage around the Mighty Nine.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Isn't that also where Bo got her spice?
Yeah, the Sood.
Yeah, the Sood. Yeah.
Spice, yeah. There's also the gallon on the ship where that just to put the axe in the head of.
Oh yeah.
He's just crawling away from her.
Oh yeah.
Grabs his ankles, pulling him back.
I'm calling Laura Bailey like playing a melee like fighter next campaign.
Like a barbarian or something.
Oh hell yeah, or a monk.
Oh, she kind of got a taste of it with Farrowyn.
Oh yeah, and she really liked it, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of hope actually if this like, because they can't do any live shows obviously at the moment, and I think they're so kind of on track with the campaign that they're not going to do any one shots for a bit. But like, I want more Darrington Brigade one shots.
Yeah.
I hope that's
really
kind of like
fun.
And because like I've talked about it before. I'm not a huge fan of like in campaign live shows. Like I'm just because like it's loud. I can't always hear it. Things like that. So I would love if the Darrington Brigade became like their live show. If they just like did those one shots whenever they go on a live show.
That would be cute. I can agree because like a lot of live shows, but I love the energy. People always yelling stuff, and that's a little disruptive for me to enjoy. I'm like always cringing if someone tries to make a joke and it doesn't land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there. I was at the live show with the most recent one before everything went crazy.
The one that was like 1 hour late.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it feels
I was at that
so
one.
bad.
That was rough. Yeah.
It was because there was like some like ticket issues, and they didn't want to start until everyone was in, which was really nice that they were doing that. But yeah, there was just some random ticket issues, but like the crowd was insane. Like for the two big moments of that episode when not transformed back into Veth, that I thought there was going to be riots. Like the crowd was absolutely nuts. And then
Essek being like a traitor.
And then and then the Essek reveal, like everyone was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, that must have been like real serotonin boost to be there live.
That was insane.
People watching the live stream were just having like PTSD of the art reel.
Oh, the art reel music.
The music would fade out, and you're like, shit.
That's kind of how it was at the live show too. It would like fade out, and then everyone, like the voices would start picking up, and then it would go back into it, and then
I think there was like 18 rounds of art reel, and we were like going insane in the server. Like we were making art reel memes and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Like, that's when like, because it's now showing at 2 p.m. for me, so I'm doing the rush home from work sort of thing. So I remember I rushed home from work. I was like, I made it. It hasn't started yet. And it's like an hour later. I'm like, it still hasn't started. Oh no.
I'm, guys, who's watching? I'm from Europe, so for me it's at 4 a.m. and they were like 1 hour early, and I was like, hell yeah, we're starting at 3 a.m.
Oh no. Oh god.
Almost.
Wait, so Lynn, do you usually like stay up for the whole episode?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I am dedicated, and also I work from home.
Okay.
So I just usually sleep when there. I mean, I did this when I was going to university, and sometimes I just didn't sleep for a whole day, and go to school and come home. Because I really hate spoilers. I am allergic to them, and I was afraid like something big happens, and I didn't see it live.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like last night watching the episode, I stopped halfway through because I had a phone call, and I was like, I'll catch up later. But it was getting to like midnight, and I hadn't watched the second half yet. The second half was only like an hour and a bit. It was pretty short, which was easy. But I was just like, oh, this is late. It's like you're watching it at 3 a.m. I was like, oh no. But I'm the same. Like I find myself, if I can't watch the episode live, I'll shut down all social media and like I'll even message like our chat, be like, hey guys, I'm going off. Like don't message me or anything because I don't want to know anything. I'm very paranoid about spoilers.
Big same. The only time I couldn't watch the end was the Vokodo fight. You guys could imagine coming back to that, and like everything was on fire. I'm like, guys, is everything okay? And they just sent me like 2 screenshots of Laura before like they said the results of the fight, like her jumping out of the chair. And I was like, what's happening? Guys. So yeah, live watching all the way.
I totally forgot about that disintegrate spell.
Yeah.
That could have literally ended Laura's character. Yeah.
I was thinking about it the whole time.
That was a big thing.
Yep.
That would have been too much angst.
It might have tipped over the amount of angst I could bear.
Yeah.
And like in the middle of Traveler Con.
Oh my god.
That's a bad one. That one you need like a proper spell for. Like I don't think they're.
I think that choose resurrection. Like you need, and that's like 25,000 worth of diamonds you need for it.
That's 9th level, isn't it?
Yes.
I feel like there would have been some Traveler shenanigans.
Yeah.
Being disintegrated. I feel like it would have been like another arc, but like maybe she gets brought back in the Feywild by the Traveler, but as a Fey or something. I don't know. I feel like if they weren't able to, let me just look it up. Disintegrate.
I think that it would have permanently fucked Caleb up, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Wisdom saves for every spell he casts.
that was a big like that. Aside from me like being a shipper as just a character, I think that would have undone a lot of growth he had.
Yeah.
So I was just really, really on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh my
this is
gosh.
this is a podcast about the recent episode.
Oh yes, of course.
Like this episode was pretty light, so
I'm sorry for derailing you guys.
No, we do this literally
How
every
dare
single
you.
episode.
Yeah.
No,
it's good.
But Lynn, I know you wanted to bring up a few stuff from 115 that we can talk about, if you would like.
Oh, I was just really fascinated by the whole everything that goes on in the tower, because it really seems to brought a lot of domestic role play out between them, which also led the way to the Boyasha developments, because they really need a private and respite kind of area. And I'm really like happy to see that come to life, and of course the creativity of Liam just telling all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I loved those two moments, and Bo coping with this love letter in her very, very own unique way. Was
I love that they just, after that happened, like Yosha confessed, and then they're just going in to, face their mortal, like, best friend and enemy.
Yeah.
Something.
I think that's what we said last week. Like, we're not gonna get like kind of a Bo Yasha moment for a while, or if it is, it's gonna be like Bo comforting Yasha because she's distraught about Molly. It's not gonna be, I think, a playful, but that might be better for the relationship if it's a more serious moment between the two, taking care of each other.
I'm happy that they can rely on each other, because Molly clearly means a lot to both of them in different ways, and it's just really nice to see them looking out for each other and trusting each other in their way of like looking after this issue.
Yeah. I'm so worried about, because it's the whole thing of like, does Lucien have Molly's memories? And if he does, is he going to like approach like Yasha and Bo maybe and just have like a sidebar with them and just be like, yo, listen, that ain't me anymore, I'm sorry. But
because he seems really not friendly. Friendly's not the word, but personable and charismatic, Lucien.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem like a hard ass or anything. He seems like he's friendly and jovial and like, talking as if they are friends, but it is still very much Lucien.
Right.
I feel. So whether he has Molly's memories or not, he might be just this like super manipulative kind of character. I think doubly so if he has Molly's memories.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
You know what's interesting? That for almost half of the group, this will be the first time they see, or this is the first time they see Molly before being kidnapped.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And they, might have
true.
held some, regret or self-blame for Molly dying because they were kidnapped.
Yeah.
Totally forgot that little thing. That's right, Lorenzo. Yeah, Lorenzo was.
Remember Lorenzo?
Man, things were so simple back then.
Yeah. When you died,
we just had PC deaths. That's all we had to worry about.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I guess now we can get into my favorite part of the podcast, our bold, unbelievably insane tinfoil hat theories that will get us apprehended by the Critical Role script writers. What bold theories do we have moving forward? I was hoping, as I said before, we were going to get some answers this episode, but well, all we got was a cliffhanger, unfortunately.
Only questions, no answers.
Yeah. But again, I don't think I really have any, other than I can't remember if I had any thoughts on the crystal thing. I don't think so. I guess I would kind of piggyback off of the idea that maybe they need it to plane jump this floating city, maybe.
Oh my god. Get it flying again.
Yeah.
I first thought when I think about the crystal and just knowing kind of like what we do about like the collective, I thought maybe it was like some kind of transference crystal or something, or like it was, I don't know, used to speak to the floating city. I don't know, but I think I like the idea that it's a battery. That makes me feel a bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest fear is that the Mighty Nine might like think or be fed the idea that their goals align for the good, and they go with the Tomb Takers to a point from which they can't really just turn back and escape, but they also can't really face them on because it's Nonagon plus a group of very talented fighters, and magic, might work really weirdly, so they just can't pop out.
Yeah.
That's the thing that worries me the most about the situation.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's right. Because I mean, last episode we kind of hinted at the possibility that because Matt has constructed this campaign to be morally gray, it is in the realm of possibility that what Lucien and the Tomb Takers are doing isn't necessarily evil. It might just appear that way.
Yeah.
But like we just don't know. We don't know anything. We have no idea.
What if they think it's like the means justify the ends kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or what's that what they were thinking before they got possessed?
Which is such a anti-Molly frame of mind that it would hurt so much. Because Molly would never be like ends justify the means. He would be like, no, let's try to save everyone. So if Lucien's like that, it's gonna hurt even more so. But I found it interesting too that how Frumpkin was acting this episode, how off he was with the magical energy, and it's scared. I'm scared that at one point Frumpkin's just going to die, like 100% die.
Oh no!
Because they're gonna put him in some situation where I don't think Matt would do it without like a lot of warning, of like this is dangerous, like maybe you shouldn't. I thought it was going to happen in the Happy Fun Ball when they send Frumpkin up into the teleportation ring in her study. But yeah, I'm always terrified that they're going to get Frumpkin to go somewhere or do something, and he's going to away and then just not come back.
Frumpkin dispelled.
Yeah. So
9th level counter spelled.
I was so
those fools. They should have sent Sprinkle. Sprinkle's invulnerable.
Yeah, Sprinkle. Yeah, can't kill.
Oh, Sprinkle is in with them.
Yeah.
I would just like to imagine like every time Jester polymorphs, Sprinkle's just there like holding on, like for dear life.
Yeah. 100%.
Just biting into the fur or something.
My God.
That weasel.
that poor weasel. Oh
so
God.
Good.
But is there anything else between this episode and last episode that we'd like to bring up or discuss? I don't think so. I mean, as we said before, this episode was pretty straightforward. A couple combat things, but a few nice small moments, especially with the Caleb and Liam and Marisha just laughing nonstop over that.
I really like the theory that Vess has clones, and I'm on board. She has clones, and they're coming back.
Definitely. I'd say there's like a 95% chance, probably.
Yeah.
Very likely.
Oh my God, this was the previous episode when they had the snowball fight? Or that's before that?
Yeah,
I think it was 115, I think. Like just
And
it's the
the
calm.
Yetis. I'm like thinking what was the
Yeah.
previous episode, and like that was when they invited the Yetis.
Yeah.
That was really sweet. You know what? Caleb read to Jester, and then he read to the Yetis too, and that reminded me when he took Ford and Vett to the Soldiers Academy and told them that he actually wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he has a lot of patience and presence and in like talking to people. And I was really soft thinking about that possibility. And that's why he's kind of said a lot of times that he doesn't want to lead. I think he has the very good capabilities for it, but he doesn't trust his own judgment because it failed once in a very bad way. And ever since he wants to prevent others' minds being corrupted such a way. So he likes to teach others.
Yeah.
Oh. But speaking of Caleb being a teacher at the Solstice Academy, Lynn, I think one of my favorite pieces of your art is the one with Caleb like being pulled from class by High Priestess Jester. I just love that image of like, this better be important, but it's Jester. It's probably just to go grab some like cupcakes or something.
Yes,
So
I think that was in the hiatus, and we had like a lot of fun chatting about what could happen if the campaign ends and what routes their lives would take. And we were thinking like Jester would 100% like teleport in the middle of a classroom to say, "Oh, I need my colleague for a very special occasion and stuff," and then it's just like, "Oh, can you show me the Rex Centrum bear claws?"
Yeah. Yep, that's on brand. Yeah. But if there are no other pressing matters to discuss in regards with these episodes, we can go ahead and wrap up. But before we do that, Alana, do you want to tell the folks at home what's coming tomorrow?
Yes, indeed. Hit Dice Heroes is back tomorrow. We took a little bit of time off, but we are back with Chapter 12 of our adventures in Wildmount. It is our D&D game with myself as the DM, Nico is there, Kirill is there, Maya and Phil are also there, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to come watch us play some D&D on Twitch, I'm going to put our Twitter in the chat right now. You can go there, check it out. All the times are there. There's actually a link in our most recent tweet where you can see what time we're streaming in your time zone. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. We play D&D. We're currently in Port Damali, so yeah, it's great. Good fun. Please watch.
Heck yeah. And I am scared. Because
they're in a fun spot right now.
We are in an interesting scenario. So super excited about that. Hope we see you all there. But with all of that being said, we can go ahead and call this one a wrap. Thank you all so much for joining in chat and talking. It's always so much fun. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever this podcast finds itself. We really appreciate you guys stopping by and spending your evening, morning, day with us, talking about something we all collectively love. I hope you all have an absolute... Oh, Lynn, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh my gosh. That was awesome. Thank you so much
for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Soup was such a delight. And what an episode. Okay, if something like crazier had happened, my God. I feel like this episode was actually a nice break from the craziness. Even though we almost had, Veth and Caduceus dying, but
Oh yeah.
That's fine. Just,
it's fine.
D&D.
That's just part of the game.
I mean, the past like 4 or 5 episodes were back-to-back cliffhangers.
I know. And next week for sure we're gonna get some answers. There's no way we don't get answers. They can't stall anymore. They are in the room with Molly. They can't stall.
Yeah.
Oh
dear. He just teleports away.
Yeah, he's just like, and we're out of here. Okay. Oh my God. All that and more next week, where we will be discussing that once again for episode 27 of the What Sheep podcast. But with all that being said, once again, Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you may find yourself on this glorious earth. We will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.